Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune into Kyle, Brust, and Nortman from 2 to 5 every day. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
What you need to know for every game to make your best bets. Will you fade or will you follow?
Welcome to the Weekly Wager.
Broadcasting live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios in Milwaukee. Alongside Ben Brust and Jen Latta, here's Greg Matzik.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome into the Wednesday edition of the Weekly Wager. The band is back together. We have a full-strength edition of the Weekly Wager from the beautiful Potawatomi Sportsbook, settling in on a night of NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. Got a nice crowd settling in as well. I'm going to settle into this chicken Caesar wrap at some point during the break. Now, Jem is back, and Ben, I can't tell what it is, but slowly but surely, you're starting to look more like me, and I appreciate that. The hair is a little bit shorter. You're rocking glasses today. This is sort of a bizarro world. Jen, you're sitting in between it right now.
Yeah, it looks good, but I cannot let the show go on any longer without doing one of these. Do you know what this bet slip here in my hand is for?
Was
Greg
it a
Matzik?
loser or a winner?
It's a winner.
Was it a Mike Gesicki bet?
It's a big winner. It is a $50 bet. Wait, hold on. You've got the glasses. What does that say, Ben Brust?
Jen, would you like mine?
Oh, I've heard about this. I'm over this. This was like 18 weeks ago.
The only reason I bring it up is because a certain someone, host of this program,
Called you
said,
foolish.
"You are lighting your money on fire if you bet wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers first pick overall."
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well,
somebody
50 to win
put
$350.
What a nice payout there, Jen.
Thank you very much.
Nicely done.
So, for whatever it's worth, I did not take your suggestion. I went ahead and put 50 bones on that, and I'm going to cash that puppy out.
Well,
And
before
she's
I
going to
leave
wave it all in your face.
the rest of the show.
Well, don't light that on fire. That's a good one right
That
there.
is a good one. So I wanted to make sure we got that in there. I asked
Did you hold
Joshy-
on to this for this moment?
Specifically for this moment.
Wow.
And it feels
That is so petty. I love
just
it.
as good as I thought it might.
it's so
I
good.
asked Joshy, I go, hey, I wasn't on the show last week. I was shooting a feature for college, well, not college game day, but for ESPN. And Joshy goes, oh my God, we totally forgot. We totally forgot to mention that Greg Matzik said, you should light your money on fire.
I'm sure Larson could find the clip or burn that clip potentially. Well done. Yes, I'm happy to eat my words.
Oh,
if
it's
it
on
means my friends
YouTube.
are
It's
making
on
money.
podcasts. You can't burn it all up now.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But back to Ben looking like me. I really like where this is going, Ben. And we'll
I
take the
actually
rest of
rather
that hair
talk
off.
about Jen gloating in her victory than talk about my horrible buzz cut and these blue light glasses that I'm trying out that don't actually look good, but nobody has the cojones to tell me they don't.
I think you look great. Studious, I might say.
Yeah, they look good. They don't look bad. I mean, you are like Greg in the fact that you were very, very wrong about something recently.
Oh, wrong, schmong. Aaron Rodgers.
Schmong!
I don't know.
Not sure if we can say that or not, but we'll find out. Jump
Wrong.
button.
No, I can't. I was going to say it again. Aaron Rodgers absolutely screwed the pooch.
100%. No questions asked.
I mean, here's the thing that I learned. For those who missed it, I did find out through sources that I had, and I'll say I had boots on the ground in Ireland. I had schools, I had a police station near Croke Park telling me the exact date in which there was a football game being played there. Now, we knew the Steelers, but the team that was rumored to be playing the Steelers was the Packers. In my tweet, I should have just said, I have confirmed the date is September 28th for the Steelers to be playing at Croke Park in Ireland. Other sources have said that has linked the Packers to that game, and then I'm not on the hook. But I had said, sources tell me the Packers are playing the Steelers in Ireland. Wrong.
So the date is correct. The place is correct. The opponent, not so much.
Not
correct.
so much, but it was until they wanted to protect a home game so they could have that with Aaron Rodgers against Green Bay in Pittsburgh.
I'm enjoying this thoroughly, and I figure this is familiar territory for you guys because both of you are in very committed relationship, married and soon to be married, and your wives/fiance must tell you all the time when you're wrong.
Yes.
It doesn't exactly work that way in our household. We have a very, very relationship based on trust and respect, mutual respect as it is. I do more loads of laundry than any man in this,
Fair enough.
southern hemisphere.
Look,
I feel
I'm
like,
with you
and
too.
northern.
I do my due diligence around the house, but when I'm wrong, I'm willing to be told I am wrong.
I am happy to admit that when I'm wrong. I am very happy to admit it, because it usually means my friends are benefiting, Jen, and you have benefited in this situation of me being dead wrong, which is good.
100%.
I am happy for you.
You're not taking it. Still feels very good. I'm still enjoying it immensely. All right, let's move on to the bets and all of the things.
Okay, while you gloat in your winnings there, which you should do. I want to spin quickly to the NBA. Jen, you shared a very interesting nugget with me before you dig that up. 2 games on the schedule tonight. And I was kind of amazed to see this. I wasn't anticipating it, Ben, but I looked at the line, both of these games, at Potawatomi Sportsbook. And Boston is first out of the chute taking on the New York Knicks. Been a great start to that series, entertaining game. Boston is a 10-point favorite. A 10-point favorite in tonight's game. And then I look at the other game on the NBA playoff schedule and realize that you have another double-digit favorite. So here we are in round 2 of the playoffs. But the numbers suggest that neither of these games are going to be close when they certainly could be. Are you surprised at all with the lines in tonight's games on the NBA playoff scoreboard?
I can't tell if Ben is surprised or not by the look on his silly face. Are you surprised by the line? 10.5 and 10?
I'm not. The reason why I'm not surprised is because the road teams are 5-0 against the spread in the second round. And if you grab one, it's really hard, especially when you're the Celtics. You're the defending champions. It's a little bit different when you're looking at the Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. As you've looked at the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're still working on trying to break through as like, hey, we're an Eastern Conference Finals team. The Celtics have done it. So I am not shocked that the Celtics are double-digit favorites. I wouldn't be shocked as well if they cover the spread based off their experience, based off the way that they missed, how many threes? 45 was it? They can't do that again if they tried.
I would agree with that. Just as I mentioned this, hit refresh. It looks like OKC is a 10-point favorite over Denver. I think it was 10.5 earlier. Ooh, already the Knicks are up 3-0 over the Celtics, and the line has shifted here to Celtics favored by 9.5. So things move quickly.
$50, the Knicks hit a 3 on this first possession.
Right. A little bit of delay.
Saw that already, did you?
On our studio television here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. It struck me as a little bit odd because there's no obvious situation here, Jen, where you're looking at a star player being injured. That is not the case with Minnesota taking on Golden State Thursday night, where you're looking at a Steph Curry situation with his strained hamstring, saying, okay, well, there's an obvious reason why this number is what it is. Minnesota now favored by 10.5. Sure, you could argue they're a better team anyway. The one series where it appears to be very tight, where Indiana owns a 2-0 series lead over the Cavaliers, is that series. But still, the Cavaliers are favored by 2 on the road Friday night at Indiana. So 3, I would say blowouts, double-digit spreads, and one tight game looking at Cleveland and Indiana on Friday night.
Well, and of all the teams that you see there on the board, and we're watching as the Knicks-Celtics game is underway here at Potawatomi Sportsbook, I think we're probably most familiar with the Boston Celtics because they're in the Bucks division. We watch them maybe more frequently than others. And then that matchup between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. And obviously the Pacers because we saw what they did to the Bucks in the first round. I got to tell you, I've been very impressed with the Pacers, and this is not a no kidding. We just watched them beat the Cavs, the top team in the East, twice. Surprising, of course, on the Cavs floor. No, I really like how they play. They feel like a deep team. They feel like a team that takes that extra pass, that finds the open guy. They feel like a team that doesn't miss a lot. And these all sound, again, very remedial basketball. But it feels like, and they do all of those things really well. And then they're fast. They are so fast up and down the court, Ben. I really like the style of basketball that Indiana is playing. And while, Gabe Neitzel, my colleague on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Mornings, 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, thinks that Cleveland will ultimately win this one, I'm not so sure. I'm starting to think that the Pacers are going to take this series. So when you look at those numbers, and I know we said that we were going to talk about how they have shifted, I'm kind of riding with the Pacers right now based on what they have done in the Bucks series and to start this series.
What you love what they have is they have a closer. You could just
in Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah, I mean, they have an absolute closer in Tyrese. They have Siakam, who's great on the wing. Miles Turner, who we saw him go for 25, 30 points against the Bucks, but they just have different guys. Somehow, Andrew Nembhard has dark magic working for him, shooting 25% from three in the regular season, around 50% in the playoffs. But the reason why I love them is they have an identity. And you mentioned all those things you like. Really, it's just defined roles. Everyone knows that when they step on that floor, they know what they have to bring. Greg Matzek has been bothering me about TJ McConnell, who I guarded my senior year of college, who is still in the NBA, and he doesn't know how he's in the NBA. You know how he's in the NBA? Because he's carved out a specific skill set and role for his team that he excels at. And so they may not be a team that you're like, oh, they don't have Donovan Mitchell. They don't have Evan Mobley, even though Evan Mobley's hurt. You get my point. What I'm saying is they may not have the most exciting of players, but Rick Carlisle is a hell of a coach, and they've bought into the way that they play, and they have no quit, and they play fast, which is uncomfortable for teams to do in the playoffs because they don't stop. And they'll go 8-9 deep if it means they have to continue to play fast. I love watching Indiana.
I'm glad you brought up coaching because Rick Carlisle is a heck of a coach. And he's never been too concerned with defense, right? You'll get your points against a Rick Carlisle team, but in the NBA playoffs, real defense does get play. I'll be curious to see if they match up with Boston specifically, if their offensive numbers slow down a little bit. Now,
And
Jen,
go ahead.
you shared with us a very interesting nugget here regarding the NBA playoffs before our show as part of our expansive pre-show meeting. But I love it. I love what you found.
It says now with the Pacers heading home holding a 2-0 lead, they are the resounding favorite to win the series outright after entering the second round matchup as a heavy 450 underdog. Plus 450 underdog. Indiana's line is now set at minus 200 to win the series, an implied odds of 66%.
Big shift.
Enormous.
Big shift.
And I honestly thought that that's what you were referring to when you said the biggest week-to-week movement that you have seen in any line.
I've got another one. It's not a line, but it is a future that we'll get to a little later in the program. But nonetheless, that is a close second in the world of movement over the course of just a couple of days.
Yeah, and just something to mention. You mentioned that Minnesota Timberwolves Golden State Warriors series. I would lay the 10.5. I mean, look, with Steph Curry out, they won their road game. Jimmy Butler was tired as can be. If they're competitive, then maybe you give it a go. But if this is a 7, 8, 9-point game the majority of the game, we've seen Steve Kerr say, hey, we're putting in the Pat Spencers of the world, we're putting in the other bench guys. He's got a long-term strategy, and he has to have a long-term strategy with Steph Curry out in order to win this series. If it is anywhere close to not being a game, they're going to sit their players, and the Warriors will cover that 10.5. That might be my best bet.
So some big numbers here. We've got the Knicks and Celtics underway from Boston. Celtics have an early lead here, 5-3, 4-3 we'll call it, 8:15 left in the first. And getting underway a little later tonight, 8:30, Denver on the road against OKC. Very entertaining game one with Aaron Gord hitting the game winner for the Nuggets. Still, the Thunder are 10-point favorites, according to Potawatomi Sportsbook. Coming up on the other side, we had a lot of fun at the NFL draft on last week's program. Jen, you weren't here for it. We had a lot of fun looking at futures in the NFL. We've tried to find value in every one of the divisions in the NFL. Numbers have not moved. Is it too early to look ahead to the 2026 NFL draft? And is Aaron Rodgers still a needle mover when it comes to futures bets? We'll take a look at that and more. Just getting started here. It's the Weekly Wager on 94.5 ESPN.
More bets coming up. This is the Weekly Wager on 94.5 ESPN.
Mother's Day is coming soon. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Ben Brust to help you out with the Welky's Mother's Day giveaway. From now through May 7th, open up the new ESPN Wisconsin app and register for your chance to win. The winner gets a one-night stay at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, a gift card to one of St. Kate's restaurants, and of course, a big bouquet straight from Welky's Milwaukee Florist. The perfect gift for the mom in your life. Register today at the ESPN Wisconsin app. You can also get 10% off at Welky's Milwaukee Florist on any order by mentioning ESPN at checkout. It's the Welky's Mother's Day giveaway on ESPN Milwaukee.
It's happened again. Another local organization switching to business technology from James Imaging Systems. This time, it's St. Anne Center for Intergenerational Care. CFO Sally Parente.
We were unhappy with our previous vendor. It was always a big production. We also had some issues with pricing.
And now with James Imaging Systems,
The service, the value, and the ease with which we can just keep using their service and not having any big headaches. We're getting value here as well.
Just what you'd expect from James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed company. AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation.
I love that they're a local company. They've been a wonderful business partner for St. Anne Center.
Make the switch to James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Nortman. The summer months are all about activity, but you can't experience that activity if you have pain in your joints. QC Kinetics has been the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for that joint pain. Don't just take my word for it. There's over 50,000 satisfied patients nationwide. It's truly remarkable how Milwaukee's medical direct, Dr. Ashley Caravelli and her team are using regenerative cell therapy to restore that tissue in your achy joints. They're utilizing biological growth factors, things I've seen with my own two eyes at the Greenfield location. It's a powerful and potent way to give new life to your joints, repairing that old tissue that's causing all the pain. And the best part, with QC Kinetics, there's no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Give yourself the gift of pain-free living and lasting relief with QC Kinetics so you can do all the things you enjoy this summer. Get your free consultation today by calling QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
Who's looking for a better deal? Well, Cousin Sub's $10 meal deals just got better. Available online only. Order your 7.5-inch meal deal today and upgrade it with a large fountain beverage, large fry, regular shake, or regular Wisconsin cheese curds. Prices vary by item from $1 to $2 a piece. Make it better and make it your own way. Now that's a better deal. For further details or to order, go to cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better. Available online at participating locations only. Offers subject to change without notice.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
A Brewers group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Whether it's a birthday party, anniversary, or bachelor party, baseball is better with the group. Grab your crew of just 15 or more for an event you won't forget. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite location at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
This is the Weekly Wager live from Potawatomi Sportsbook on 94.5 ESPN and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Greg, Jen, and Ben here. It is the Weekly Wager on 94.5 ESPN from Potawatomi Sportsbook, settling into a nice night of playoff hockey, playoff basketball, regular season baseball. If it's on, it is on here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. No doubt about that. That 2,000 square foot video wall right behind us. And amazing place to watch and hang out and enjoy sports. I want to get to this intriguing movement that I saw week to week. So on last week's program, we talked about the NBA draft. We had a lot with futures on last week's program. And I had asked the question to Ben and Josh, when something is so painfully obvious that it's going to happen, are you comfortable laying down some extra coin to make that $100? In the case of Cooper Flagg, he was minus 2,500 to be the first overall draft pick in the upcoming NBA draft. And Ben said, no, it's a lot of money to cough up. Even though you know it's going to happen, it's not really worth the squeeze. Sure, he could win $100, but is there really value in that bet? I like to find it somewhere else. Maybe you'll go against the odds a little bit and try and, a bigger haul.
I'd rather take that $2,500 to win me $100 and place other wagers that could win me more than $100.
So they didn't like the idea, Jen.
I get more frequency out of it. I can do some parlays. I can do some single bets. You can do more with it than just sit on $2,500 of cash outside of your pocket for $100 whenever you place the bet now until
You know what that
June,
feels like to me? That
July.
feels like a CD at your local bank.
Hey, you're going to get a return on it. Just going to, I get it.
I give you $1,000 at 4.4%, and in a year, if I leave the $1,000 in there, well, great, I got whatever it is, $40. I don't even know what the number is, but something like that. That's what it feels like to me.
But you're making money, right? And if the goal is to win, and it is, this seems like a, pun intended,
you're going to take out a loan
win.
to win $100?
I don't think $2,500 to win $100 is egregious. I think that's okay. You can come up with that, make it happen, win yourself $100. Here's where that line is today. Cooper Flagg is now, in 1 week's time, minus 10,000 to be the top overall draft pick in the NBA draft. I looked at 2,500 minus 2,500 and said, that is a deal, because he could blow out his ACL in a pre-draft workout and still be the number 1 overall pick, right? Like injuries, like nothing would affect this guy. He would still be the top overall pick because he is so young and so talented and so different. He's already played against NBA talent through the course of summer workouts. So I saw minus 2,500 and I said, that is really intriguing. Now I see minus 10,000, and maybe I'm kicking myself a little bit, but clearly all arrows are pointing toward him. I just don't know what happened. Well, in a week's time, how did this go from minus 2,500 to minus 10,000?
Somebody told somebody that they are doing what you think they're doing.
Right. I mean, my first thought is that people saw it and saw value and said, I'm jumping on this. Minus 2,500, that's an easy win.
No, it's the same. It's the same way. Like, I guarantee that until the Tennessee Titans had said that they were keeping their first pick,
taking Cam Ward,
that their quarterback odds probably came off the board once they had said that, or somebody knew that they were going to say that. There's got to be there's no bet that big enough at minus 2,500, unless even if you bet $250,000. That's to win what, $10,000?
So what's the logic here then? Why did it move? We haven't had the lottery
Exactly what
yet.
Jen said. He's going number 1 overall no matter what. He's the consensus number 1 overall pick. So there's no one that touches him.
So why was it minus 2,500 a week ago?
The combine list came out. I don't know. I really don't.
Slipped through the cracks, maybe. Nobody was focusing on it, so the books were like, I mean, I don't know. I can't give you an answer there. My question is, are people really doing this? Is this a thing, Ben? Again, maybe I'm a betting novice. I've never thought about putting a big chunk of change down on something that was inevitable.
I do know some crazy people that
win small amounts.
Not that much, but they will do the minus 500 on the money line to win 100, right? Like, I actually am crazy. At one point in my life, since the Badgers have always sucked at Purdue, they've won 5 games ever at West Lafayette. Purdue was like minus 15. I looked at them with somebody that I was betting with at the time. I was like, should we lay $10,000 to win 100? Purdue's not going to lose to the Badgers tonight. But never in a million. Once we had that conversation, it's like, no, this is stupid. Let's just bet the spread for $100 and see if they cover the spread.
Well, I was looking and I can't find it, so maybe it's already gone off the board. But I was looking for the MVP odds. You know, everybody was saying that SGA was going to win the MVP. That was an inevitable. Do we have any idea what those numbers were? And maybe would you have considered doing that? Or is there a possibility that you think Nikola Jokic is going to swoop in and steal MVP?
Well, I think that's off the board again, with the regular season having ended, right? It's a regular season award, playoff start, that's off the board. The one interesting one, I think, during the course of the year that we identified was Defensive Player of the Year, right?
Wemby.
And then Wemby goes out with an injury, right? It looks like a shoe-in to win that award.
He was minus 10,000 to win that.
It was a big number, and I remember bringing that up, and ultimately he just didn't have the number of requisite games played to
exactly
qualify for the
why I would never, ever, ever put 10,000 to win 100 because there's too much variability.
I'm with you. I looked at the NBA draft with Cooper Flagg, and I thought $2,500 minus 2,500, 2,500 down to win 100. To me, crazily enough, it looked like value to me. In that situation,
it's all talk
like
until
value.
you put your $2,500 in for that $100.
I did not.
All right, we got to get to this NFL draft thing. You said it to both of us earlier in the show. You said NFL draft 2026, and we got to break, and both of us go, did he say what we think he said?
I did, as a matter of fact. NFL draft is over. Is it too early to look ahead to next April? It might be, but we'll do it anyway. That's what I wrote down here. Okay, fair enough.
Down his teases. That's a professional right there.
How early is too early?
Now.
Right? Now or is too early?
Tomorrow.
I love
the next day.
I love
the next week.
A good future. I love me a good future. But even I look at the 2026 NFL draft, who's likely to go number one, numbers. And I first note that it's
Lenoris Sellers. Who does he play for?
South Carolina. It's
good,
five quarterbacks at the top, right? Not a shock, right? Quarterback is likely to go number one. History would suggest that. But
let me throw this out to you, though, guys. I think last year at this time, and again, I'd have to go back and check, wasn't Quinn Ewers like a guy, like maybe the guy? I'd have to go back and look, but like a year ago,
Cam Ward probably was not the odds-on favorite.
I can guarantee he was not the top quarterback a year ago at this time. I mean, again, things change so rapidly, and you know you're going to go over the list of who they have here at Potawatomi Sportsbook that you can make bets on now. But man, does it feel like a whole heck of a lot, especially with the transfer portal, especially with a lot of the movement you're seeing in college football. It feels way too early to be betting on next year's first overall pick.
It's a really good point because players who might have been off the radar at a different school in a conference you didn't pay attention to now come to prominence playing at a bigger school that you might see on in front of your TV or front of your eyes on TV on a Saturday. All of a sudden they get some run and they work their way up the rankings. Here's the top 5 according to Potawatomi Sportsbook. I don't know if there's value here or not. Again, it's super early. Arch Manning, plus 220. Gary Nussmeier, the LSU quarterback, plus 350. Drew Allard, plus 500 from Penn State. Jen?
Drew Allard is he's a good kid. He's a really good kid, and they really like his size.
Way to preface it. Well
and
done.
They really like
he's a good kid.
They really
kid.
like his size.
Helps his
and they
community.
really like his potential.
Yeah.
But I was reading an article that said Drew Allard is likely to have the best year of his career. Yeah, no bleep block, because he had a 58% completion percentage his first season. He had a 59.9 completion percentage his second season, and he had a 66.5 completion percentage this last season. Now, I know they really like the offensive coordinator there. They really think that he can move him in the right direction, help with his evolution. I also know that they feel like they have bolstered or added to their pass catchers for him. Try to give him more options. Really, it was down to was it Tyler Warren last year? The kid
the tight end, yes.
Who also played quarterback?
Occasionally,
Right.
They call him the Swiss Army knife.
So
I just don't know if he can take a big enough leap to be the first overall pick in the draft, guys.
He does make some throws at times where I'm very impressed, but then you look at the whole game and you're like, how come I saw that one throw and we're not able to hit this throw? I'm not closing the page on Drew Allard just yet. I'm just not. He just because of he ropes me back in with a throw every game where I'm like, I'm still roped in, but then he doesn't make the simple quick out throw where it's like, how can you hit him in stride after I saw you on a scramble to your right, hit somebody in the right corner from 30 yards out? You make that throw, but you can't make the quick out. So I'd like to see him put it all together. I'm not throwing it in right now on Drew Allard. I know you might be.
And I'm not throwing the towel in. I'm just saying I don't think it's likely he will be the first overall pick next year, especially with Arch Manning on the board and Nussmeier on there as well. I will tell you this. I did pull up the numbers from last year. This is 1 year. Well, yes, it was 1 year ago, essentially. The number one, the best odds to be the number one overall pick 1 year ago, guys, Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I would have guessed that.
Plus 100.
Yeah.
Followed by
wow.
Carson Beck, who is now at a totally different school. Followed by Quinn Ewers. Followed by Drew Allard. Followed by Jalen Milroe. Then Jackson Dart. Then Cam Ward. If you were smart enough to get in on Cam Ward 1 year ago.
What was Ward's number?
Plus 1,500.
Which is also Cade Klubnik's number, plus 1,500. The new Clemson quarterback taken over for this year. So he's got the number that's similar to what Ward had last year.
He was there
last year. So, but he is number 5 on this list. And I've seen already mock drafts. Again, I understand what time of year
I think
it is.
Jen's point proves her original point of today, tomorrow, the next week. It's just too early.
You want to know what Travis Hunter was, guys? And I know he didn't go one overall,
plus
but obviously he
25,000.
plus 2,200.
$2,200.
And Abdul Carter, who went number 3 overall, plus $3,000.
If I'm gonna pick one player out of this group to put even $20 down, I would pick the Clemson kid at plus $1,500. If there's value there, quarterback's going to go number 1. Might be a little bit off the radar right now, but that number is going to shrink.
And never forget, guys, the other guy, Arch Manning, his last name is Manning.
That too.
And there is a history there of,
I've got the power.
I don't like that team that I may go to.
In the first overall pick.
Be conscious of it. I'm not saying that will happen, just that exists. That was a thing.
Yeah, I hate crap like that. It's one of the reasons I never liked John Elway. Come on. I got to go play baseball. Come on, jackass. Just go to the team that selects you, clown. All right, anyways, coming up. Yeah, it is too early to look at the NFL draft, by the way, but I enjoyed going through that with you. Coming up on the other side, does Aaron Rodgers still move the needle when it comes to futures bets? Will the Steelers' odds to win their division change if he says, yep, I'm playing, I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler, let's do this thing? I think not. And an interesting Packers number, we'll share it after this.
We're back talking bets after this on the Weekly Wager on 94.5 ESPN. Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so that you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
My name is Rob, and I was seriously injured. When I think of Gruber Law Offices, I think of an honest, hard-working team who will fight to represent you. Couldn't be happier with the call that I made that day.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Make plans to stop by Third Ward Beer Garden at Catalano Square. Experience Milwaukee's favorite beer garden, the perfect spot to meet up with friends in the Third Ward. Open Wednesday through Sunday with live music Thursday through Saturday. Good times and great vibes await at Third Ward Beer Garden.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the Holtebeck Eye Center team last September, and her practice philosophy is to provide patient-centered medicine by giving all options. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
It started with a prediction.
Gonna go out there and play basketball and win. And how many games? 6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco. Woo!
Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sport called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Weekly Wager live from Potawatomi Sportsbook on 94.5 ESPN and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
I'm not saying it was your fault, although you could have done more. Oh, you're so naive, yes, so...
And the Weekly Wager continues here on 94.5 ESPN. Happy to have you along with us until 7 o'clock tonight. Chris Larson producing the show. Greg Matzik, Ben Brust, Jen Latta with you at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Love it here. Always appreciate our time. Great hospitality. And come check it out. If you've not been to the Sportsbook, they're coming up on a year anniversary here. You got to check it out. No better place to watch sports in the state of Wisconsin. All right, I want to look at a Packers number that we did not get to on last week's program. And this number has not really changed. In fact, we went through division by division trying to find the best value to win that division on last week's program, and nothing has changed. All of the numbers are exactly the same as they were a week ago. I guess my big question is there really anything between now and when training camp begins, or really when the preseason begins, that would shift any of those numbers aside of what the betting public might think?
I was going to say injuries, quarterback. You do see some pop up here and there. I mean, Joe Burrow had a non-contact injury a couple of years ago in training camp. The year coming off of the run to the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, if I'm actually losing my mind here. But yeah, like there's things that can happen.
Well, and the big news of the day,
I was going to say
was
Dallas
George
and
Pickens
Pittsburgh
going to Dallas. I wonder if that would shift people's thoughts at all about Dallas. Dallas now has a duo of wide receivers of pairing him with CeeDee Lamb, and it feels like, guys, now that is a recipe for success. A lot of teams are trying to get, that duo. We went through on our show this morning, where do the Packers wide receivers, or pass catchers if you want to include Tucker Kraft, fall in the NFC as far as pass catching duos? And honestly, it's pretty far down.
Yeah, I imagine so. I mean, here's the thing. I try not to get too caught up in the pass catching thing, because I did take a look at all of the top pass catchers in the NFL last year. And if we go through the top 10, there's a common theme. Other than the Philadelphia Eagles, who had really good wide receivers but weren't in the top 10, the rest had really good production, but nobody had that team success. A lot of them were on bad teams,
like the Lions and the Vikings.
Well, again, you can also point to the fact that the Lions and the Vikings didn't go as far as we expected them to do. The Lions didn't even make it to the NFC Championship game after a year removed from making the NFC Championship game. The Vikings got knocked in the first round with a duo of Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. So that's my point. It's like we can look at the pass catcher. To me, for the Packers, if we're going to have a Packers discussion, I said it today, I don't know how you run it back with this defensive line, knowing that 15 of your 45 sacks were in 2 games, and you didn't draft a defensive tackle until the 4th round, and like that's a problem. You can't have the guys that they have and expect to make a deep playoff run rushing with 4, where Goody himself said they need to get home with 4.
But that's what you think. Goody obviously thinks differently.
Goody thinks differently.
Goody obviously thinks that the guys
But don't we have enough evidence of these guys
into their roles? I agree. Yes, we do.
Okay, I'm looking for your opinion.
This is the pee on my leg and tell me it's raining thing. I know what I see. And yes, if these guys were to make incremental jumps at each of their spots,
yes, absolutely.
Then absolutely, Goody, you were right. But right now, it feels like he was wrong, and he's digging his heels in. That's what it feels like.
We'll get a napkin to clean up that pee running down Jen's leg. I'm looking at the numbers here.
They said it was rain.
So the Pickens trade did nothing to the numbers here for the AFC North. Absolutely nothing. They are identical today at this juncture of the evening as they were 1 week ago. Here's my question. I'll give you the numbers, and I'll ask the question here. Right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are plus 575 to win the AFC North. That is a distant third in that division. Baltimore, the odds-on favorite, minus 143. Cincinnati, very talented team. If they could decide to play defense, they are plus 215. The Browns are also recognized as a team in the AFC North. Pittsburgh at plus 575. Does Aaron Rodgers, if he commits to playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, move this number in any way? Does he still have power to move it?
Yes, and I think it actually, believe it or not, has less to do with Aaron Rodgers and more to do of who their current quarterback is.
So it's not the other guy, more so, right? It's not a Mason Rudolph experiment.
Yeah, correct. Like Mason Rudolph is holding the Steelers back from being not a good team, but just another Steelers team. Rodgers would have some upside, but he does move the line probably from 575 to at best 450.
Okay.
At best 450. And I think that's a reach because typically at his age and with what we've seen over the last 2 years, he'd be playing with guys he's unfamiliar with. We know what that looks like when he didn't have the comfortability of Devontae Adams. He hasn't looked as good. Did he catch his groove late in last year with Devontae Adams and the New York Jets? Yes, but did that equate to wins? No, there's I don't see it moving that much. 450 would be the highest I would see it.
I see it moving if Aaron Rodgers has a DeLorean, can climb into it, go back to 2014, and play at an MVP level. But unfortunately, I'm guessing that he doesn't. So this is an aging quarterback. I don't care how many MVPs he has on his resume. I don't care how many killer highlights you can pull up on YouTube and watch. Aaron Rodgers is not the Aaron Rodgers of old. And I know that the Steelers may be quote-unquote desperate and may think that he can stabilize the offense. I just don't buy it. Especially to your point, Ben, about not knowing what he's going to do this offseason. Like, if you're going to go to a new team with all new weapons, learning new relationships, learning new preferences, learning all of the nuance of the pass catchers, to talk about that position again, you got to make sure you're there at the beginning. And with him still not even having given word if he's playing or not, I just don't see this being a year where all of a sudden he's just going to strike gold.
I think, like, look, I would love nothing more than for Aaron Rodgers to be good in the NFL again. But I think what I feel from him is when I hear him talk about, his priorities, right? And he mentioned it a lot with Pat McAfee. There's a personal stuff going down. I don't care if he got married or didn't get married or whatnot. If I want a quarterback for my franchise, I want to know that the number one priority heading into next year is being there for the team and telling a team or anybody like, hey, this is just where my head is at right now. I get that you feel like you've earned that, but I feel like he's also missing the fact that over the last 3 years, he hasn't been a part of a winning team. The last year he was with Green Bay. They won 8 games and lost at home. And that was his final game. He walked off with Randall Cobb. Obviously, it sucks that he's tore his Achilles. I don't wish that upon anybody. And he didn't have success in his second year. So that's 3 straight years of him not having the MVP type guy. That it's just, to me, it's like, I don't know, man. Can you really just, do you really think you can roll it out there and make the Steelers really good? Because without the full commitment, I'm not feeling it right now based off what I've seen the last 3 years.
Aaron Rodgers has occasional magic left in his arm. Mason Rudolph has 0 magic left in his arm, legs, mind, anything. He is just not a quarterback that's going to deliver magic moments. The MVP of the league, or a front runner, is still a quarterback in that division. That's a problem. So while it might move and it might get into a point of you feeling like, some interesting value here, or maybe you take your own mind back in that DeLorean that Jen suggested, which sounds like a fun ride, you might think to yourself or convince yourself that this becomes valuable. I don't see it, right? George Pickens is kind of a headache, sort of a jackass, sort of a malcontent. DK Metcalf's a nice, productive receiver. I don't know what else there is, right? I mean, John Stallworth's not walking through that door. Mike Wallace is not walking through that door, Ben. And Jen, neither is Lewis Lips or Antonio Brown. I don't know who else they have to throw the ball to. That's my best recollection of Steelers wide receivers.
Right, and one of them is
Did
now.
you say Hines Ward?
Well, I was going to say, and one of them is now, Pickens is now on the Cowboys.
Yes, and Lynn Swann would have been a nice person to incorporate into that discussion.
Let me ask you a question before we move on, and I know we have to shortly.
Okay.
The NFC Championship. Do you have, Philadelphia Eagles at plus 300? I don't know, guys. That feels to me like a team that could do it again.
Sniffing some value there.
I mean,
I'm not going to lie. I'm
here's
not
what
sold
I'm
on the
not gonna
Lions
do.
until I see them with other
Here's what
coordinators.
I'm not going to do. I'm not going to jump on
49ers
the
are trying to
Lions
find out
bandwagon.
who they are again after, last year with the Commanders. I'm not buying a second-year quarterback, and the Packers, there's just too many question marks for me. I like the Eagles.
And I'm sneakily interested in the Rams at plus 1,000 as we sit here today.
I
But
just
there's
don't
a
like
big
relying on the old
Matthew
Stafford.
component. That's a big component and a big what if, and probably why it's at plus 1,000.
Statue Stafford.
I promised the Packers number. We will get to that along with our best bets coming up on the other side as we wrap up the weekly wager from Potawatomi Sportsbook after this.
More bets coming up. This is the Weekly Wager on 94.5 ESPN.
Spring is here, and your local IKEA is rolling out the savings outdoors for their annual sidewalk sale. This is Ben Bruss. Come see us, Kyle Brust and Ortman, live from IKEA in Oak Creek on Friday, May 9th from 2 to 5 p.m. We'll be on site with ESPN Milwaukee and taking in all the deals. A wide variety of furniture and home furnishing accessories at big discounts. IKEA's annual sidewalk sale runs May 9th through the 26th. Come see KBN on site this Friday at IKEA in Oak Creek for the kickoff of their annual sidewalk sale.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
You've heard it time and time again that each game in the NBA playoffs is not the same. Each series is not going to be the same. Do not use what happened in the past as something that can happen either in the present or in the future. Boy, did we get a load of that. Not just what happened to the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 1 versus the Indiana Pacers, but man, oh man, how wild was that involving Game 1 with the New York Knicks down by 20. They beat the Boston Celtics in overtime by 3. And then the Denver Nuggets, they're down by 13 in the second half, and Aaron superhero Gordon doing it once again, hitting a shot at the end for the Denver Nuggets to pull off a win, this time versus Oklahoma City, like he did the game-ending dunk in the last series versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, that doesn't mean that the Knicks or the Nuggets have all the momentum or that Oklahoma City and Boston are automatically going to win Game 2. You know what it means? It's the playoffs, baby. Anything and everything is on the table. What you thought you knew can completely blow up in your face. Ask Boston from Game 1 and Oklahoma City as well. In 60 seconds, it is really Nikola's team in Denver.
At the Home Depot, we know Mother's Day is a big deal. So what are you working on for Mom this year? With a little help from the Home Depot, you can help create a space just for her. We have a wide variety of patio sets and outdoor furniture that will make the perfect gift for Mom. Just add a few hanging baskets for a pop of color and texture for the perfect finishing touch. Shop outdoor furniture, flowers, gifts, and more for Mother's Day. In-store and online at the Home Depot.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Everybody had the shovels ready to throw dirt on the season involving the Denver Nuggets. How could it possibly work when you fired your coach, Michael Malone, and your general manager 3 weeks before the end of the regular season? With 3 games left in said regular season, and poor Dave Edelman gone in there and try to fix that whole thing. Well, they had a secret weapon that is no longer a secret, and that is now it is Nikola Jokic's team when it comes to the Denver Nuggets. Not just the team, the organization. They basically said, our superstar's not happy. Let's make sure he doesn't think about going anywhere else. Not that he was going to do that, but you never know. And ever since then, he has been more vocal. He does not mind letting people know exactly what's on his mind on off the basketball court. Oh, yeah, it has benefited Nikola Jokic, but in the long run, it has definitely benefited the Denver Nuggets. They may have more championships in his tool bag than we could have ever imagined based on that move. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
Sunny skies, ideal temps, great food, and plenty of live music and events. That's summer in Minnesota. Enjoy the unmatched beauty of the North Woods or the excitement of our famous state fair. And with nearly 500 golf courses scattered in the land of 10,000 lakes, there's no better place to hit the range than Minnesota. Come discover all the things in Minnesota that make the heartbeat of a community and the heartbeat of culture. Visit exploreminnesota.com for more.
This is the Weekly Wager live from Potawatomi Sportsbook on 94.5 ESPN and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
9 to wrap, according to our producer, Chris Larson. I think that means 9 minutes left in the program.
I believe that's correct.
Okay, all right. We'll take that as for what it's worth and get you to Finalysis coming up here at the top of the hour. Greg, Ben, and Jen with you, wrapping up the weekly wager from Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll, of course, be back again next week and maybe have a little more clarification on these 2026 NFL draft numbers. We will keep diving into those week
I will
week,
boycott the segment if we do 2026 drafts.
Week after week. Well, then I will
Fair?
just spout knowledge.
Just like you boycotted, I got to throw my boycott out there.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. If I can boycott, you can boycott.
Yeah, what is a gander?
I like that precedent.
What is a gander? Just a baby goose? Is that all it is?
I know it's like looking at something. Take a gander.
Take a gander? Okay. All right. Well, good enough. All right. Here's a number for you. We did not get this to this on yesterday's or last week's program, nor yesterday's because we didn't have one. The Packers over/under win total for the upcoming season is 9.5. 9.5. Over 9.5 is minus 122 here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Under 9.5 is plus 100. These numbers came about after the NFL draft and after the bulk of free agency. I suppose a move could be made, and certainly the re-signing of Jair Alexander. I don't know if it moves at a half game here or there, but who knows? But also before the NFL schedule. I also don't know if that really weighs into much. We will see. We'll watch how these numbers move. But at first blush, today, May 7th, Ben, over or under 9.5 wins for your Green Bay Packers?
I'm still over here, even if I'm laying a little bit of juice. I still, even though I have question marks about the defensive line, I know the schedule's a little bit tougher because you don't have the AFC South. I do believe that there is going to be a natural progression of like consistency of Jordan Love, just because it's going to be hard to be injured as much as he was. It's unpredictable. But he did kind of go through the gauntlet of the knee into the groin, into the not the collarbone, but like the shoulder or the elbow rather, was the funny bone area. It just was a weird year. And even if you do feel like you're healthy, you're never fully 100% healthy. You just learn to manage that pain throughout the whole season. It was a good learning experience. So if he does get hurt again, it's not like he's shocked on how to play through pain. But you invest in the offensive line. You have a good running back. You drafted a wide receiver in the first round. You have competition in that room, which hopefully brings everyone to get better. I like them to win over 9.5 games at the end of the day. Do I believe that they're going to win a Super Bowl? I'd like to believe it, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen.
I'm with Ben. It remains to be seen how far this team can go in the postseason, and I think it's going to depend a lot on what we talked about earlier, which is how much better is that defensive line. And, oh, by the way, how much better are those defensive backs? I love Xavier McKinney, but, man, I'm not sold on Keyshawn Nixon being cornerback number one. Maybe Nate Hobbs takes that over. We still don't know what's going on with Jair, rumors of a potential resolution, reconciliation. It blows my mind that we're still doing this. So I still think I'd like to know a little bit more about how that defense is going to lock it up in the front and in the back before I say this is a Super Bowl capable team, this is a Super Bowl worthy team. But 10 wins? This is a 10-win team.
Matt LaFleur is a 10-win coach. He won 13 games 3 straight years. Then after losing and having an 8-9 record, he came back with a 9-8 record after starting 3-6. And last year won 11 games with what felt like a choppy season. So, yeah, I mean, 4 of his 6 years, he's hit over that number, and it feels like they're heading in a better place next year.
2 potential issues. 1, how much better are the Bears? How much better are the Bears with Ben Johnson as the head coach? 2, can the Vikings duplicate their success from last year? New quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. How quickly does he get up to speed? I really like Kevin O'Connell. I know that people don't love hearing that, but I think he's a really good coach. And so obviously having to play those teams twice every single year, that I think will affect the Packers' win total.
Interesting numbers here. So you got the win total over-under set at 9.5, and the numbers are identical to Packers to make the playoffs, yes or no, right? Riding this line of 9.5. Essentially saying that 10 wins going to get you into the playoffs, 9 wins, you're going to be very lucky, or it's going to come down to the wire, maybe need some help. Those numbers for Packers to make the playoffs, yes, minus 122, no, at plus 100. They are identical to the over-under win total numbers.
Matt LaFleur has gone over his season win total 5 of the 6 years. The 3 straight 13 seasons, I think they were 10.5, all 3 with Aaron Rodgers. Then obviously he went under when it was 9.5 or 10.5 in the last year of Aaron Rodgers. It was 7.5, 8.5, I believe, in the first year with Jordan Love. They went over that, winning 9 games after starting 3-6. And then the next year, they win 11 games when it was 9.5 last year. So I don't know why I would go any other way than the over when Matt LaFleur's hit it 5 of 6 years.
Seems to be the way that I would go right now. I am curious to see how the schedule lines up. That, of course, will be released on May 14th.
But at least they're not playing in Ireland.
We don't think so. Anyways,
my sources tell me that they're not.
Time for best bets. Let's get to it. Ben, we will start with you because we feel bad about the whole Ireland thing.
Oh, I don't feel bad at all, unless you bought tickets. I would say that I got to go with something we discussed earlier. I saw this last series when they went down. They were down 30 and they came back and they got it within like 11 points. It was the Warriors' last series against the Rockets, and I was like, wait, put the starters back in. The Rockets put all their starters back in, and Steve Kerr's like, not doing it. So I love the Minnesota Timberwolves minus 10.5. I mean, with Steph Curry out with the hamstring strain, Jimmy Butler playing so many minutes that he didn't even want to talk to an assistant coach because he was so tired from all the workload that he had. I mean, he's a dog, but I think you want to try and win back at home right now. You try and feel it out. You see if you can have a game, but I don't know. The explosion that the Minnesota Timberwolves are capable of, I love the minus 10.5. It's a lot to lay, but it's also no Steph Curry.
Strange time of year. I would love to be betting on baseball, but I've told you guys, I think it's way too fluky, home and away and pitchers, who's on the mound and who, like lineups and all that stuff. It just, to me, it's just too many variables to ever feel confident in a baseball bet. Hockey going on as well. We're watching the playoffs over here on the television. That's not my depth of knowledge. I've watched basketball. I like basketball. I'm going to go with a basketball bet here. And I like that Cavaliers-Pacers game. Guys, if the Cavaliers go down 3-0, they're basically toast in this series. I mean, you just don't come back for something like that. But I like the Pacers in this one. I think home court advantage. I think the way they've been playing, they're riding a high. I would take the Pacers straight up in this game this weekend.
It's interesting because they are 2-point underdogs in this game.
I lean with Jen. Look, I know they're coming off a high, but also that high can translate into them home energy. Their crowd is electric.
Outstanding.
Like it's a great place to play. And I don't think they want to mess around. Like they've messed around and snuck away. They also have the ability to beat the Cavaliers, who are pretty injured, by 15 points if they can keep this pace up with the injuries. You don't know if Darius Garland's going to play. Like that's a big thing. Donovan Mitchell, also another guy that has to be exhausted, and he looked exhausted. He only played 36 of the 48 minutes because he doesn't have any help right now in that guard spot. So I'm with Jen. I like the Pacers as well.
I don't know if they can win this series. I don't know if they'll win the game, but Denver with an MVP talent like Nikola Jokic and the kind of explosiveness they have in their offense, I see a plus 10 next to this championship pedigree team, and I don't buy it. Home, road, doesn't matter. These things happen in waves, and I don't know if Oklahoma City Thunder is ready to win it all this year, but I think they can win this series. But by plus 10 for Denver, I'm riding that. I think Denver covers. I don't know if they win this game number 2. They already got their 1, which is great. They got home court advantage back on their side. But plus 10 for a team like Denver, that seems like a lot. That game Wednesday night at 8:30. We are out of time with the program. My thanks, as always, to the fine folks here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. They always do a great job hosting us, and it's a great place. Come hang out with us anytime you're able to come down. We wish you the best here, of course. Ben Brust, Jen Latta, I'm Greg Matzek. Chris Larson producing the show. The analysis is next on 94.5 ESPN.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at